folks. Oh, all right. Seems to be working. So we have with us Clubhouse Moses. Beautiful. Has joined us. Together with Jay, Charles, Michael, Austin, Vilma, Sarah. We have with us Instagrammers, Jennifer in Minnesota, Austin, Alice in Baltimore, McCoy in Lima, Peru. Alice in Baltimore, right? Blake from Lancaster, Kentucky. All right. We have Eliana in no. Move back to your hometown. Welcome. We have Hamid with us in Montreal, Yenta Televenta, Yiddish Meidela, Michael. We have Elisa in Florida. Beautiful. We have Julia, John, Brett. Okay, many of we've mentioned before. Madeline, Long Island. Beautiful. Okay. We say every morning in our prayers, before we begin the formal minyan, praying with the community, but on our own. We say, Ashrina matocha, kinu manoim goralenu chulu. Fortunate are we. How good is our portion? How pleasant is our lot? Now, this is part of prayer, so of course, what's our portion and what's our lot? It's in reference to God. We also have a term, God is the allotment of my portion and of my cup. You support my lot. How goodly is our heritage. So it seems that we get illuminated by God with a term called our portion and our lot. Right. Our portion indicates something that's, it could be an equal portion to many people, right? The birthday cake, you split it equally amongst everybody in the family. So you have an equal portion. By lottery is something about individual that's unique to the one who won the lottery. So we need to, of course, understand these terms in reference to God, especially when we apply it to God. The term a portion, what does that mean? God is not divisible into parts. He's a simple, uncompounded unity. Parts is the very antithesis of him. And that would lead to idolatry, perhaps, right? But yet, we use that term. He is our portion. He is our lot. So this will be understood by the phrase that Jacob used in reference to God, that he called him Kael, God of Israel. Usually it was the God of Jacob, but here is the God of Israel. And what is this novel way to refer to God with the word Aleph Lamed, which means Kael, and the God of Israel? So we need to understand that. Okay. So one of the ways we refer to God is HaKodesh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, blessed be He, which is true to His name. Kishmoy Kain Hu, as his name, so he is. In other words, that God is transcendent, meaning he permeates the spiritual worlds and this lower physical world in an equal degree. As the verse says in Jeremiah, do I not, the eye of God, right, fill the heavens and the earth? His very essence, his very core being. Not just the ray of light of God, not just what he does, but who he is fills the world equally. Right? And we call him holy, meaning he's here but yet apart from being here. What does that mean? It doesn't mean that he's here and yet apart. How do we understand that? Well, let's understand the way the soul integrates within my body. It's within my body. Everywhere within my body, there's my soul, right? But it's not apart. It's within. And therefore, being that the soul is within the body and limited to the parameters of the body, doesn't transcend the body as it is in the body. I mean, there's an element of the soul that does, but talking about that part of the soul that's within the body, doesn't transcend it, and therefore it's affected by it. As we actually explained in the first part of Tanya in chapter 42 at great length. Therefore, we can't look at God that way, and we have to be careful because usually we create God in our image, and that's our image, that's our experience, or that's something that we can have a sensibility of, just as the soul fills equally, within me, my brain, my toenail, it's all there. But it's all there in a way that it is affected by the change of coming into my body. But God is very different. In other words, he is found within the world, but not affected by it. At all. So he's here, but not in a way, when we're talking about not the essence of God, right? But not in a way that we could receive from it in a way that it will be our very life force, because that would be too powerful for us. It would not be able to animate us in a way that we would remain as we are, independent beings. So it's a mere radiation. You have the essence of God, and then you have the name of God, right? That is the source of creation, but it's only the mere radiation that emanates yet another radiation that gives us vitality, and that is even exalted and beyond. So, at this level, the godly life force is not merely present in created beings, but it's actually becomes now vested within them. It contracts the light of God to adapt to the spiritual capacity of each particular created world and created being as it vests itself in it. So there has to be a lot of contraction in order that there can be now this progressive downward coming down of the light. So let's back up for a moment. We have the essence of God. We even have his name, right? And we'll see we have different names. Well, he and his name are one. So just as God permeates creation, higher and lower worlds, his name permeates higher and lower worlds, but in a manner that is transcendent. So it's hard to explain it, because if you're here, then you're immanent. You're not transcendent. But to be here and to be transcendent at the same time, kind of an oxymoron. Hard to, well, we don't have an experience of that. But that, okay. That's why we have to be careful not to create God in our image. And not to see it the way our soul is found within the body. And that's the way God is found within the world, the soul of the world. No. Because our soul is affected by the body. The God permeates the world, but he's not changed by it, isn't affected by it. And again, if he would only animate us from his essence or from his name that's one with his essence, then that would be something too powerful for us to be but a ray of light within the sun. But now from that powerful sun, if you will, metaphorically, not that he doesn't give that over here, that metaphor, but there's a ray that comes from the name of God that is able to vest itself, meaning to become a part of all created worlds and all created beings. And there will be degrees. There will be distinction, higher and lower. A higher being, the light of God, will be less contracted. So a soul, in the world of Bria, for example, or an angel in that world, the contraction of the light will be lesser, but it will be contracted sufficiently that it could now vest itself as the soul vests itself within the body, right? And to animate that specific creature, that created being. And with that, we're in the middle of a thought. We end the beginning of chapter 7. But we will learn further and we will see in detailed form what that means, and therefore what it means to have a part of God, have a lottery that you win from God. What does that mean? It doesn't, the lottery isn't that you won money or that you won, God throws you a candy, a nice new home. You made a lot of money, so you can now buy a beautiful home, have a nice vacation. No, that's not the lottery we're talking about. The lottery is of life. What does that mean, of life? We'll see. We'll see. Okay, I see some questions here. Hashem isn't male or female, so why do you use the male pronoun? Oh, very good question, Michelle. Excellent question. You're right. He's not male or female. He's beyond. He is beyond. First of all, we're using human terms. And the reason why is because there is an element of God that is male, and there is an element of God that's female. When we speak about God as creator, there's an element of male, and there's an element of female. Both. Generally, we speak about God in the male terms because the male quality is the one that is giving. And the female quality is being a recipient. So there is a feminine part of God that is a recipient. That's called the Shekhinah, the divine presence. It's Malchus of Atzilus, for example. Right? It is a recipient of the light of God on the higher levels. It takes it in and then anyways, whatever. I don't want to go off on that too much. So there is both the male and female, in the divine attributes of God. But when we speak about God, that's beyond, transcendent, so you're right, not male or female. However, in the Hebrew language, every word is either feminine or male. So the term HaKodesh Baruch Hu is a male, even though it's speaking about the God and transcendent God. So it's beyond any quality. But yet the Hebrew language has to be male or female. I think French is similar. English isn't that way. Not because that's good about English. Maybe that's why there's a confusion in one part of the world in particular. Yeah, North America. Great confusion about male and female. Male and female, so I'm going to go off on a tangent now, is embedded in the very fiber of creation because there's male and female within God, within the divine, in the divine attributes. So again, and everything is male and female, has male-female component, all of creation. And we need to be able to respect that there is that distinction. So yet, even when we speak about God that's beyond any pronoun, beyond any description, yet being that we're human, we speak in human tongue. The human tongue is in Hebrew, and Lashon Kodesh, in the Hebrew holy language, is male or female. Can't get away from that. So when we're speaking about Shekhinah, about the divine presence, that's feminine. Thank you for that. So, yeah, so we'll always be speaking with pronouns. There will never be an it or a they. That's a corruption. Shelley, you have another question. That was a really good question. Where did souls go when our body dies? They go to Gan Eden, to the Garden of Eden, through a process. Yeah. I don't know if I missed any other question of yours, Michelle. Thank you for the very good questions. I think I got them. Okay, anybody else? I don't see. I can't overemphasize how, based on Torah, based on mystical teachings, that the male and female element in everything in creation, right? So the basic idea of male is influencer. The basic feminine quality is recipient, or another term, had it on the tip of my tongue. It'll come to me. Yes, there are two Gan Edens. Correct. There's a Gan Eden in the world of Bria and a Gan Eden in the world of Yetzirah, higher and lower Gan Eden. Yeah. Thank you, Miriam. Women are in a higher spiritual plane than men. Yeah, I won't argue that, being a man. Even if my wife isn't present. I won't argue that. Because we think the influencer would be greater, stands greater than the one who's the recipient, who receives. but the recipient is able to take that which the influencer gives and um, create something from it that is infinitely greater than what they were given. So the man gives the seed, the woman through 9 months of gestation gives a baby, gives life, much greater. A man goes out in the field and produces, he influences out in the world and he produces, he brings back money, or back in the day he brought back a grain, a sack of wheat or grain. And the feminine quality, by the way, men have feminine quality and male quality, predominantly male quality. They have feminine quality because they can also, use the feminine quality. Now, you can't change what you're predominantly. So a man can't become a woman, a woman can't become a man. That's not injustice, right? Just like a lion can't become a human, a dog can't become a human, and you can't become a dog. That's not inhuman. That's part of the fabric of creation, that everything has the male and female. And so, in any case, doesn't mean a man doesn't have feminine quality, because feminine quality is to be able to take that which is raw material, the seed, and now make it into something that is a child. Well, they can't make the child, but they can nurture. Also, it can have nurturing quality, or they can take the wheat, which is raw material, and now make it into bread that gives life and gives nourishment to the family. So that's nurturing feminine quality, which is greater. Quality, you need both qualities, right? How to get a prayer shawl in India? No, seek out Chabad in India. If the body is pure energy, how can it be increased? Why is the body pure energy? I don't know what that means. Yeah, I'm not certain what you mean by that. I don't know why it's pure energy. Okay. Development like Bina, Alice. I don't exactly see your question. Just say development into Bina. I don't know what that means. Okay. Anybody else? With a question, comment? Miriam has another question. Did she put question marks? Miriam. So women transform energy. Women, they transform not just energy. I don't know why limiting it to energy. Women nurture. They transform, nurture. Probably even better than just transforming, but it's transforming, yes. And in that respect, it is the ultimate quality. The ultimate quality to be be able to know how to receive. How to receive, to be able to know how to receive is a difficult thing to be a recipient. It's also difficult how to give in a healthy way and how to receive in a healthy way. Carmen, is there a certain energy, both spiritual and physical, shared? I don't know what you mean by energy. Not exactly clear. Sorry. All right, folks. Rambam coming up. Okay. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Klein, coming to you from Chabad, Zurich, Canada. It's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. Have an amazing